I see my guest in the background. I think she's ready. I'm going to go to her. We're joined with the one, the only Sarah Bils.
Hi.
How are you doing? For some reason, your volume is very low.
Um,
Is it just me?
let's see. Volume? Volume is
Oh,
low?
there you are.
There we go.
That's
Okay.
better. No, no,
Okay.
no. That's better. That's much better. How are you doing today?
I'm
Welcome back.
surviving. I am alive. How are you?
Welcome back to America.
What a welcome back.
Yeah. We don't know if you came back or not. We're very cynical here. We think that there was just some rando Iraqi that took pictures of you to pretend
That
as if
was
you were.
really interesting, wasn't it? I was in Iraq and I was of course like checking in with people back in the States and they're like, you know, that there's people here that said you're not even there. I was like, where did they think that I went? And they're like, Pennsylvania, and that you hired an Iraqi child to take pictures for you.
Now, why would you do that? That's the part that's always interesting to me when stuff like that come up. It's like, why would you? So it's like
Could
you're trying to create mystification. Is
could
that
you
what it is?
imagine even lying that badly? Like I couldn't even imagine just even regardless about what it's about. I'm like I can't imagine lying like that and then like creating an entire
I
like
just don't know why you would do it. Yeah.
what a place to lie about, right? Iraq. Why would I pick Iraq?
It's just weird. I don't get
Probably
it.
would
I
have.
don't get
I
it.
would probably would have picked an easier place to find a child to hire to get me photos. That would have probably, yeah,
Yeah, that's weird.
weird.
How was your trip?
Amazing, gorgeous, exceeded my expectations like tenfold.
Exceeded your expectations tenfold.
Yeah,
I can't tell if you have a tan or anything like that from here.
a little bit, just a little bit, but you can't really be outside that long. So
Brutally hot, I imagine.
it's about 140,
Are
between
you serious?
125 and 140. Yeah.
What? How do people function in that heat? I remember being in Egypt in a swan and it was like 114 and just you just couldn't function. Like you couldn't do like we literally stayed in the hotel the entire time. You just
Well,
couldn't
there's no
function.
humidity, so it's kind of like as long as you can get from like the hotel to the car, like you're still dry. You're not sweating. Like there's no humidity whatsoever. It's almost there were some points where I was like, oh, it's kind of nice to be outside right now. Like where it was like, I don't know, it wasn't really that bad. I've stayed in the Gulf for extended periods of time. It was
Uh,
nothing like that. The Gulf is like I stayed in Bahrain and I used to get to about 105, but it was way more humid because of the location. It was just but Iraq was very, very, very dry, so it really wasn't too bad. And they have air. These people have air conditioning outside, so like you can still eat outside. Like they will have air conditioners like surrounding their patios instead of fans.
uh-huh.
So you're eating outside and you're just sitting outside in the air conditioning. It's bizarre. It's so funny, but yeah, it was great. I
Air
would do it again and
conditioners.
again and again. Yeah,
You
they have
liked it
these
that much.
portable air conditioners that they like move around so people don't get too hot. It's really interesting. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. There is no I've been to a lot of places. I've been to every continent except Africa and Australia and or I'm sorry, Africa and Antarctica. I've been to Australia. Africa and Antarctica. I've never met people more generous or gracious. The generosity of Iraqis is absolutely unmatched.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. That's very cool. I'm glad you could go. I'm glad you made it back safely. Um, yeah, I don't know if I can ask you about the trip. So I'm not going to ask you about the trip.
Okay.
I'll let you write about it at some point because I haven't talked to you about it in advance. So I
Well,
don't
I
know.
will stream today. So for your watchers, listeners, viewers, I will stream today and go into a lot of detail and I'll have Chris Halali with me who was also on the trip if people want to hear like in depth and of course I'll write about it. So that'll be today in 4 hours.
Now, can I ask why you were there?
Sure, I was there because the government is current they're in a very large rebuilding phase in especially in Baghdad. So I went during this time of year specifically because it's Arbaeen, which is the Shia Muslim pilgrimage. It's kind of like their Hajj, except For Sunnis, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong at any point, but for Sunnis, I believe that they can take their Hajj at any time. Arba'in is during a specific time of year.
Okay.
It's a commemoration of Imam Hussein and his kind of journey and his from Basra. Well, he actually journeyed from Saudi Arabia, but the Arba'in is usually contained within Iraq. So you start at the most southern point of Iraq, and then you walk all the way up to Karbala, and you walk to Imam Hussein's shrine, and you sort of pray. And the Imam Hussein was somebody who was very educationally oriented,
Mhm.
culturally oriented. So there's a lot of children, there's a lot of learning. It was incredible. So I went to view that and I also the government. Sorry, the dog. The government is upset because not upset, but the government is concerned that the only stories about Iraq in the West are kind of in the shadow of the war or in the shadow of what the United States did to them or what happened during the 2020s and the 2010s. And, there were times where they'd be like, do you know anything about this? And I'd be like, no, because nobody can talk. Nobody talks about it. I don't even think anybody knows about it.
Yeah.
And that was their kind of their thing. They were like, we're rebuilding. Baghdad's a beautiful city now. It's nicer than where I live near Seattle. I felt safer in Baghdad, but it's being really built up with a lot of investments from Iraqi oil money, Qataris, and the Chinese. And they're like, we don't want to be looked at as like some desert wasteland. That it's not about money. It was more so about like there's people here, and like we have a culture, and we're resilient and we're still here. And the stories that people tell are always the stories of victimhood,
Yeah.
or they're the stories of the PMF being terrorists because, they're still trying to make that link.
Right.
And that was another thing with when I was there. They were very much like, we want people to understand that we are our own country and we are not just a group of Iranian proxies. We have our own agency. We make our own choices and we have our own money. And
I
that
see.
was, and I think you kind of only can understand that when you kind of see what's going on. It's not Iranian influenced at all. They don't have the same political goals. They don't have the same political ideology as Iran. They don't have even the same political ideology as Hezbollah, or they're not a resistance, or they call them, they're part of the axis of resistance. They're against Israel, but I wouldn't say that they're like in the axis of resistance like we would think of them. So they're legitimate popular mobilization force. So stuff like that. Like it was like the kind of lifting this veil and getting rid of the confusion. And they do this sort of trip for journalists every year at this time because it lines up with Arba'in, with
I
a
see.
pilgrimage. So yeah, you get to kind of do both. So you see the government side and then you see the really spiritual and religious side.
That's very cool. That's very cool. This is a bad transition. Afghanistan with the Taliban, where the
Uh-huh.
Taliban are trying to get people to come for vacations. Have you seen those commercials?
Mm-mm.
So the Taliban has these commercials where they would have Americans, and they start off the commercial with a guy being tied up, and then they're like, "Oh, we're just playing."
Stop
And it's
it.
like, whoa, that's intense. That's intense.
Right.
And then they have people like shooting and playing with guns, pretending like they're being hostages. Like also, it is wild. It is wild. Like they go
Was
head
Lord
on these.
Miles involved at all?
I
Sounds like
don't.
sounds like a Lord Miles adventure. I was supposed to go to Afghanistan in July, I think. It was for my birthday. I was going to go to Afghanistan on a trip, and I was like, I didn't see that commercial, but the things that I did see, I was like, I think I'm going to wait to go to Afghanistan for like at
You
least
would
a
go.
year.
I don't know if I would go to Afghanistan. I don't know if I'm that committed to the cause.
I canceled the trip.
Yeah, I don't know if I would make that. That's intense to me, man.
Well, it's actually a very good. A lot of guys that I know are going there because there's a lot of business opportunities. I just don't know about. I don't
Like
know. I
guys.
do know one girl that drove through there on a motorcycle, and she was fine, but still, yeah, the guys are going there because there's a lot of mining and business and legal opportunities. So a lot of people are going there to sort of open up like that kind of thing.
I will wait for more modernity.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, Kabul is kind of nice. There's hotels there, but it's not anything like even a small city in the United States.
Yeah,
It's not built up yet,
it's
not to
crazy.
where you'd be all right.
You made, I know, right? It's like, hey, they don't have any spas here.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I don't think they do. The Taliban spa, that would be fun though.
no, they don't. Not typically, not in Muslim countries. I mean, it's not for men.
Yeah, you can, I
Like
don't even I think that they're actually getting more strict in Afghanistan. I don't even think they have
they
music
are. They
anymore.
don't allow you to play chess.
Oh wow. Yeah, see?
I flipped out on my channel when I heard. I was like, "Are you effing kidding me? What do you mean you can't play chess in
That's
Afghanistan?" The
crazy.
Taliban apparently took issue with it because apparently people were gambling when they were playing chess.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean, okay?
Well,
What do
gambling
you mean,
is
okay?
obviously haram. Like that's obvious. But yeah, it sucks that they can't play chess. They like, can't play music. They can't play chess. I don't even know if they are allowed to have television in some parts.
Oh, see, I would have been arrested. I would have my music playing in the shower, singing. And it's
Right.
like,
Well,
this is
those
not
rules
Muslim.
don't apply to us. Like that's
Oh, they don't.
no. Like even
Oh,
even when I was in Iraq, like I really didn't have to be covered in most places. I covered out of respect for the religious officials or whatever religious people. But
really?
yeah, it's yeah. I thought like even the the representative of the government yelled at me. I said I don't have hijab. I don't have any hijabs at my house. I only had kofiyas. I said I'll bring a kofia. Do you want me to wrap when I get off the plane as soon as I get into the airport? You know. And he was like, "What the hell do you think this is, Afghanistan?" I was like, I don't have to put it. He's like, no, you don't have
Good.
to do
I
it.
am glad he said that.
Yeah.
Because what do you
And then,
mean covering up? I would cover up out of respect. I don't know. Maybe this is me being my independence thing. It screws with me.
oh, I don't
Right.
mind covering. I actually kind of like it. It gives me an excuse to not do my hair. But like, yeah,
You like it so you can be a slob.
yeah.
Sound just oh, that is
And
so
also I don't
wrong.
have to do my hair. It's so good. But yeah, it was really funny. They were like, we're not he kept saying Baghdad is gonna be the Dubai of the Middle East. And I was like, Dubai is the Dubai of the Middle East.
Right. 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 That is very cool. I am so glad you enjoyed your trip. And it sounds
Yeah.
like Iraq is, I understand where they're coming from. It's kind of like Sally Struthers.
Mhm.
Like if you were an American, you're, I don't know, I mean, what, I mean, 40 something. We grew up with videos of Africans hungry with Sally Struthers, overweight, saying these people need food. And you kept thinking, you can't give them anything. I mean, that kid is over there starving. You're like 300 pounds. But that's how we grew up with Africa, though. And so, that's not really Africa, though. Like when you actually go, it's cities, it's actual locations. But that's the thing that's in your mind. And it's in your interest to not people have that point of view. And if you're Iraq, I would imagine that is in your interest not to have people have this point of view of a
Right.
war-torn country, terrorism,
Yeah.
ISIS, etc. No, I understand. That sounds good though. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're able to go. I'm glad Iraq is rebuilding. I'm
Yeah.
glad they're in a much better place.
I mean,
No, that's awesome.
I went to Karbala. I was just actually, I Googled it while we were here. It's the largest, it's the second largest religious pilgrimage in the world. It's second to one of the
With the Hajj.
Hindu pilgrimages. No, it's far larger than Hajj. And that's the
Oh,
thing, like nobody even knows that. And
I didn't know that.
25 million people, 25 million pilgrims converge on the city of Karbala, cities, I guess, of Karbala and Najaf. Some don't go all the way to Karbala, but most do.
Yeah,
25 million people. The food is free, the education is free, the
really.
entertainment is free, the drinks are free, medical is free. And I was
Wait,
looking
what do you mean
around,
drinks?
like, no, right,
Drinks
no,
are
there's no
legal?
alcohol in Iraq. No, there's no alcohol in Iraq. But
Oh, okay.
like
These are
to be
drinks.
hydrated. I mean, people are walking through the desert for 20 days. It's a 20-day walk from
Okay.
Basra to Karbala. It can be 17 to 20 days. And then there's the walk from Najaf to Karbala is 1 day. So there's like some people that can't do the full one will do the smaller one. And that is actually taking place today, the evening of the 14th into the 15th is Arbaeen. This is when it kind of culminates and comes to a close. But not to like drag your viewers down with a bunch of like educational stuff, but I think that the most important thing was that watching that 25 million people from around the world, they weren't just Shia. I saw Christian bishops. They were inside the shrine. Like there were Christians there were Yazidis there were Sunnis there. everybody was there. I didn't see any Buddhists though or Jews, guys. Sorry, but maybe they were there. But 25
This might not be
million
the place for Jews right now. They might let
25
this one pass.
million people from all over the world, mostly Shia, and nobody got hurt, nobody died. There was no shooting. There was no. I saw the kids fighting, but I didn't see any like world star, you know. And I'm like, the United States could never. Could you imagine 25 people trying to do anything in the United States?
Depends on what it is. But it's different. I mean, the reason is different. Like it's a spiritual reason. Like for example, and this is a horrible example, but it's the closest thing I can think of. Okay, or the Vatican, for example. I was about to say Bernie Sanders, but the reason why I said Bernie Sanders, the one thing that I want for Sanders put me in the mind of the Vatican, where you have all of these people there for this. I'm going to call it politically spiritual reason, regardless of Sanders. Take him out of it. Just put a fixture there. Just Bob Cobb. Bob Cobb believes in these things in real life, right? Healthcare, education. We're going to stop wars. We're going to do all of this stuff. He's a true believer. And you have all of these people by the thousands, even millions, who are there, who are, it's almost like a religious experience. It's the closest thing to a religious experience that somebody's going to get that is more so in the political spectrum. The closest thing I saw to that was the Vatican, where all of these people flood into the place. My ex-wife and I didn't even know where we were. Like it sounds so stupid to say that. We were just kind of going with the flow of the crowd. We were just
Are you
walking.
Catholic, or were you just there
No.
for a visit?
No, we were just visiting, and we're just walking with the flow of the crowd. And we end up in this building. It's very nice, huge.
Oh yeah, everything in the Vatican is gorgeous.
And then we see the little Pope comes out. The window is like, oh my God.
The little Pope.
Yeah, well, because the window is so tiny.
Yeah, he's little, but you're so cute. You're like, the little Pope comes out.
Wait, the window is very tiny from where you are. Like you're looking way up into the thing. And there's like this little man, this little Pope comes out. And he's the good Pope. He's the Pope that I like. And all of these people immediately turn to the window, almost in unison. It's heady. It's a very weird,
that's what it was. It was like, it was surreal. Like,
yes.
Like I went 2 days because they're like, we really want you to like absorb it. The first time I went, it was at night, and I was like, this is really cool. The second time I went, it was daytime, and it was starting to get more crowded, and it was like that. It was so profound, and I felt like that at the Vatican too. I've been to the Vatican, and it's funny that you brought up the Vatican, because while we were going to Karbala, my driver Sajad, he's like a photographer and a doctor, and he was like, what religion are you? Yeah, he was like, what? Yeah, they have to do things out of necessity. But he's like, what religion are you? And I was like, oh, I'm a Roman Catholic. And he was like, perfect, Roman Catholic, just like Shia. And I was like, yeah, it is kind of a little bit. We have pilgrimages, we have a lot of songs, we have a lot of spirituality. We're very outward with our spirituality. And I was like, that's really interesting. And then we kind of got into more of a conversation about it. And he was like, yes, Catholicism, we kind of compared to that a lot, as in like, you are our Christian counterparts, counterpart to Shia. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. But yes, I felt the same sort of like you do at the Vatican. And it's, and you know, I think that, and I'm not a really religious person, I'm not a Bible thumper or anything like that, but I do believe in the existence of God, and being at places like that, you're like, you can't deny that existence. Sometimes you're just, something else is there that you can't really quite touch. There's something else there.
It's just a lot of people. It's just a crowd. And the crowd has a tendency to entrance other people's brains. Like if I'm watching Bambi die, I may feel sad.
You're so cynical.
There's reflector neurons in my head that that mirrors the fact that all these people are there. And again, it's crowd thing, right? Like you've seen the tests where if you have like 10 people in an audience and you have an experiment where one guy is the control.
Yeah, but tomorrow they're flying out to Iraq to do this. It's not like they're following a crowd. They have to conscientiously get to Iraq from wherever they are and then start the journey. Like, it's not like they're like, oh, there's a line over there, we better get in it.
People believed that you were buying an Iraqi kid to take pictures. to pretend
Thank
you
you
were not
for
alive.
bringing me back down to earth,
I'm just pointing it out. People believe all sorts of things.
even though
When I
they
was in
don't
the
live,
class,
they don't dwell on earth at all.